Welcome back. You're watching Fox 7 Austin News at 5:30.
An Austin man wants some unwelcome neighbors removed from his apartment complex. He says raccoons are living in his walls.
Fox 7 Austin's Meredith Aldis joining us live downtown with the 7 on Your Side report. Meredith.
Yeah, the resident says he moved into the complex a few months ago, and so did those critters.
I can't get enough sleep because I'm waking up to raccoons fighting in the walls, scratching my walls.
This man moved into the Trio Apartments in East Austin in March. When did you start hearing these raccoons?
Like 2 days after I moved in.
He says it's an everyday thing now, and he's worried about what might happen next.
These raccoons are already getting up in the walls. No telling if they're gonna come into my apartment. And if they got rabies, that's dangerous.
He complained to the complex back in March. They responded in part saying, quote, "Please know that we are actively working on a solution to address this concern. Our long-term plan is to implement a 360-degree exclusion of all buildings to prevent raccoons from gaining access to the walls. In the meantime, we're exploring several different deterrents that can help draw the raccoons out and keep them from returning."
As you can see, the work that they did was just put a piece of wood right there.
And he says the ruckus hasn't stopped.
I know for sure there's 2. I don't know if there's any more, like a family, but I know for sure there's 2 because, I mean, you heard the fighting on the video.
A wildlife specialist also listened to this video.
It sounds like raccoons, right?
It's actually really tough to say. Nighttime noises could be raccoons. Daytime noises, most common animal would be squirrels.
He says he'd have to do an assessment to really know, but he wouldn't be surprised if they're raccoons.
Raccoons are pretty strong and pretty ingenious in how they can, find their way into these buildings.
He says they can make their way through vents or siding, essentially any weak point on a building. And once they're in,
they'll tear up insulation, they'll get into HVAC ducts, they can just be really destructive, and not necessarily because they're trying to mess up your house, but that's just what they do. And then also, it's worth noting that they can carry diseases. There's a long list. I will say it is fairly rare in extreme cases where humans are contracting these diseases when there's a wildlife incursion, but they're also not the cleanest.
So he recommends appreciating them in nature, but when they're inside a structure, it's time to set some boundaries.
The most efficient and most long-term effective solution is to find ways to seal off their entry points, to seal up the house. And the trick, because you don't want to seal the animals in the structure, is using something called a one-way valve. It is an incredible little device that allows passage through the valve in one direction and not the other.
We reached out to the complex to see what kind of progress they've made on addressing this issue, and we haven't heard back. Reporting live in downtown Austin, Meredith Aldis, Fox 7 Austin News.